Okay, I have 26 minutes. So in 26 minutes, I'm gonna talk about how insane life is. How I make a little flower crown because I'm going to dance with some wonderful women to usher in spring. This is not where I thought I'd be. You know what I mean? This is not what I thought I'd be doing. But here I am figuring it out. And today I had a beautiful confirmation. I had to go drop off something for my niece. And she told me she had an accident in school. She laughed so hard that she peed. And I thought, wow, what a beautiful experience, right? To be so free and to live so fully that you laugh so hard that you literally pee your pants. Like, you know, we always say that I'm gonna pee my pants, but do we ever let go and pee your pants? This is not to say to go pee your pants. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying though is how many of us allow ourselves to live so freely, to live in such an awakened way. And as I was leaving that space, I seen a little girl walk by with a flower crown. And as I was feeling self-conscious about, oh, I need to make this flower crown. I've never made a flower crown before. But like, I think it's so cute. It's so feminine to just have a crown of flowers on your head. And like, why not? Right? Why not create a crown of flowers on your head? It's just because fear of societal judgment that stops us really from experiencing that type of life, that type of fulfillment. So I seen her little flower crown on her head and I thought, like, she's just walking by. It's so normal. There's nothing wrong with it. She's just being in her most authentic form without a care and thought in the world. And it just brought a lot of joy to my day. My niece, the girl and her crown, and it just reminded me of that part of us that we sometimes suppress, the part of us that just does whatever, is wild, is moved, experiences life in its fullness. And it made me want to go and build my flower crown today because I want to adorn myself with flowers. I do. I want to be as present as that little girl in her own way of being. So, yes, these kids inspired me a lot today. They inspired me with their loudness, the loudness of living would be the best way to put it. To live out loud, because Spirit's been calling me to talk about my awakening, my experience with it. And so today, I'm gonna start that journey of telling you how I ended up becoming a intuitive healer, is what I'm calling it for now. I've changed it so many times. I have changed it from holistic. I've changed it so many times because what I didn't recognize was there's so much of me that wanted to continue to stay legible. So I didn't know how to present what I did. Something that was just completely mine, or something that was originating from my own remembering of who I was and who I came here to be. So the process of the awakening is probably the best teacher as to what it is that I was. I also, when I picked these flowers, I offered some tobacco. So It's always important to give when you take, and ask for permission. I did ask for permission for these flowers. Look at that, beautiful. Oh wow, like so cute. So the awakening is probably the best teacher as to how I got here, right? So when I first started, I was in my awakening. What happened was my grandmother passed away, and that brought up a lot for me. There, like, the idea of home was really present for me. Like, where did I feel at home? That's all been an ongoing thing my entire life, to not feel very grounded, very rooted in any place that I've ever been. And so when my grandma transitioned, she felt like, not that she was the last thing of home that I had, but when I went home after not being home, and I keep saying home, Sierra Leone, West Africa, that's where I'm from. When I went home after not being home for so long, I didn't know how it was gonna feel. So I remember being on the plane and just crying as the plane was descending down into Sierra Leone, because even though I hadn't been back there in years and years and years, it felt so familiar. It felt so comfortable. Like it was like a part of me was returning, or a part of me was being returned. And I just remember crying for a home that I could barely remember, but I yearned for so deeply. And when I went to my grandmother's house, I seen her face through the fence, and it's different when you're on the phone because you don't really get that same connection, not really. It just feels like we're going through emotions on the phone, and so I struggle with talking to like family on the phone because I'm like, I crave depth, I crave understanding, I crave knowing, and it just feels so surface level sometimes. And I'm the type of person that I can feel energy. So if I'm in a room with you, I don't know, there's no way that we're not gonna exchange in that way, like open in that way, unless I'm closed and scared. But if I'm open, the energy around me generally becomes open, and people just say stuff. People just start talking, and I love that about myself. I love that about my energy. So I prefer being in person and talking to people. So when I see my grandma through that gate, the first thing I seen was her huge smile. Like, she was so happy to see me. She was so happy to see all of us. And the love that she carried, I could feel that radiating off of her. She was a beautiful, beautiful woman. And my entire childhood, I craved grandparents. I wanted grandparents so bad. I was so jealous of everyone who had their grandparents around, and I never really got to experience my grandparents because they all lived in different countries. And so I really cherished the little time I got to spend with her in the physical. And so when she transitioned, it brought up a lot of grief for me. Wow, I'm feeling it now. It brought up a lot of grief for me because it felt like my connection to my home had left. I didn't realize that, but yeah, that's what it felt like. It felt like my connection to home had left. And I thought, how could I go back now? Like, what do I go back for? Who's gonna greet me with that smile when I walk in? Who's missing me the way that I felt her missing me when I walked in? I don't know. It was a really... Wow, that's making me emotional. It was really beautiful, and I don't know if it's something I just created in my own head because grandparents around me so badly when I was little. But it felt very special. It felt very special to be welcomed home by her. And so when she passed, it was really interesting because I had been taught how to pour libations by my granddad. I have the same name as her. She's a powerful woman. I have lots of women in my family that are extremely powerful. And so when she taught me how to pour libations, and coincidentally, she didn't pass until we showed up at the house. She had waited for us to come so she could transition. And I remember having a panic attack right before going there. Like, there was something in me that was like, there was so much fear, there was so much anxiety. I think I know now it was I know what it is now, but it's something that I will hold because it's for me to understand. And she waited until we were there to take her last breath, but she had taught me how to pour libations for the ancestors. And she pulled me aside and she intentionally said, like, this is something you need to know. When my grandmother passed, I heard her voice. It was weird, but I heard her voice and she said, start pouring libations for the ancestors. And so I did. I started pouring libations. I started putting out food. I started connecting intentionally. And it was strange. It was like I started developing a relationship with my grandmother that I had not had in this living world. But I could feel her. I could sense her. I could see her in my dreams. It was like she was so present. Like she was guiding me, supporting me, and telling me how proud she was. Like I could just feel so much love, surrounding me during that time, and it was really interesting. And I think that's when I started to open. Along that time I was doing counseling and I wanted to decolonize our practices of counseling, and so I went back to see how did people used to heal? What did that look like? And as I did that work of watching how people used to heal, what I found was a lot of the wisdom that we had in Western therapies and counseling, a lot of the work that we were being taught you could find it in our African traditions, right? You could find it devoid of one crucial part, which was spirit. So as I kept diving in through psychology of the mind, body, and that connection, then I started diving into quantum physics. Y'all know, anybody who's gone through the awakening went down the rabbit hole. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I went down history, I went down religious texts, I went down quantum physics, and so I was bursting with information and knowledge, and my world was starting to expand exponentially. I was like, the world isn't what we think it is. I was just trying to figure out what is going on out here in this world. How do I situate myself? I'm hearing that maybe this world is a holographic projection and nothing is real, and then I'm hearing in the spiritual space echoes of that, and then I'm hearing in the it was wild. I was like, my mind was being blown wide open, and then on top of that, I'm having these visitations from my grandma. So I'm working with my ancestors and these spirits, and I'm like, what is going on? And so I just decided, I'm like, I don't know, one day I was like, I wanna find out more. I wanna find traditional healers and work with them. And I'm thinking, how am I gonna find that in Ontario? What's that gonna look like? So I just had been reading the book Sacred Woman by Queen Afua and learning more about Kemetic traditions. And so I had just Googled Sacred Woman. And coincidentally, there was a woman that lived 30 minutes from my house. and she was an Haudenosaunee wisdom keeper. And her name is Diane. And I was like, huh, okay, well, I was like, this isn't what I was looking for, because I was looking for more Kemetic African traditions. But I was like, huh, whatever. Let me check it out. My work had given me a large amount of money to spend on my professional development, and I thought, hey, I have this money. Let me just call this woman and say, hey, I have this amount of money, and I would just really like a conversation with you. Let's just talk. And I don't care even if it's an hour. Like, I think your wisdom is important, and I would love to know what you know. I would love to be taught and mentored by you. And she told me, she said, first of all, like, she was like, you remind me of myself when I was younger. And she was like, okay. She was like, this is very unusual, but you know what? Call me again and on this day and we'll talk about it. And I did. And then she told me, well, the only way that we learn is by doing. You have to do it yourself. You have to come in. And she told me, hey, this is really intensive work. I was like, okay. I was like, I don't really feel like I have anything that I'm holding on to, shit, right? So I'm like, okay, yeah, I can handle it. She's like, no, it's really intensive. I was like, okay, cool. So before my meeting with her, I had gone through this process of trying to clear everything out, and then the eclipse came, and I had a vision. I was meditating and I had a vision, like my first very clear vision, and it was of an angel, and he showed me a tree that had fallen over, and the roots had been completely detached except for one root, and there was like a light being holding the one root and the other root together, like with great difficulty. And then all of a sudden, more and more light beings started to hold on to that root. And as a lot of us know, when we are going through these spiritual awakenings, we go into these spaces of spiritual ego. So the wounded healer in me, obviously, seen that and was like, wow, that's probably the world tree. And they're showing me that I have to heal the world by shining more light and showing people how to do this work and attaching them and all of these things. So I'm inflated. I'm like, whoa, I'm about to save this world. I'm about to be on my savior tip, right? Joke is, what Diane showed me was that tree was me, and I was dying. And that realization, that awareness, that awakening shattered everything I thought I knew. I thought I was a hot shit. I thought I was a spiritual being. I thought I had already awakened. Boy, just because I got some information, some knowledge, right? I thought I knew, but I was so far off. And that is, I didn't even make the proud crown in here, but that's okay. I can't really talk and do things at the same time. I thought I could, but I can't. But yeah, that was the start of my real awakening, right? Like before then, woof, I was just in a world of my own delusion, of my own making. Like, yes, I was having like spiritual things happen, but I was not grounded in reality until she showed me what she showed me and opened me to the world that she opened me to. And since then, I have been walking this path of self-mastery, doing the work, the inner work, actually looking at what's in there and releasing and let go so I can come back into full union, full wholeness and remembrance of who I am. So yeah, I guess this is the first part of the video. This is the first part of my awakening. If you're interested in hearing the journey with the shaman wisdom keeper that brought me back to life fully, that will be part 2. So whenever I record that, because I'm moving within my flow. I'm moving within my divine flow and I'm not rushing myself, I will record that. But yeah, if you feel so inclined to donate, to support, this work is uh, this work is blooming, and it would really help me to be able to support other people in connecting back to themselves. That's what I do essentially. I help people connect back to themselves. If you can donate, if you feel so inclined, if you're like, this resonates and I would like to support you on your journey of helping others connect back to themselves, I would love that. I would appreciate that. I'd be so grateful to you. If you want to work with me one-on-one, I am an intuitive healer, so that means I do channel, I get messages, and I just support people in their own emotional mastery. So for me, I can only take people as far as I've gone. And so I'm committed to continuing to do the work of being. Now I'm in that state of, I don't feel like I need to excavate anymore. I just am in a space of being and expressing. So if you want to learn to live in your most authentic light, want to fully embrace who you are and be, come take this journey with me. I would love to support you. It is my greatest honor and my greatest joy. So, thank you for listening. My name is Deej, the Village Healer. Rock with me now. Rock with me now. Hey! Okay, I'm gonna finish this crown because y'all be distracting me. And by y'all, I mean whoever energetically is on the other side of this, who was needing to hear this. Y'all be distracting me. But I'll be back. I'll be back. And we'll kiki. If there's messages or questions, leave them in the comments. I'll answer. Okay? Alright. Cool. Okay. Have a good day. Peace, love, and blessings to you. I love you guys. Okay. Stop. Is it giving fairy godmother? Is it giving queen of the fays? Is it giving... Ooh, spring is here. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Somebody knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, we love when a look comes together. Ooh. Okay, I just wanted to show y'all because I was supposed to do it with you and I didn't do it with you, but this is her. Yeah, no, I'm digging it. I'm digging the vibes. Okay, that's it. Love you guys.